Think you know the Ford Fairlane? Think again. These aren't your everyday classics. From ultralight art code drag monsters to see-through roof oddities, this list uncovers the rarest, strangest, and most forgotten Fairlanes ever made. Most people have never seen them until now. Buckle up, it's about to get wild. The Fairlane name once stood for raw power, bold design, and underrated dominance. But hidden beneath the surface are forgotten legends. Fairlanes so rare, even hardcore Ford fans may have never heard of them. In this video, Muscle Cars Revolution takes you on a ride through 10 of the rarest Fairlanes ever built. Some were race-ready beasts, others pure styling experiments. All of them? Absolute collector gold today. Top 1 1966 Fairlane 500 R code 427, lightweight, 4-speed. This was the Fairlane Ford never wanted on the street. The 1966 Fairlane 500 R code 427 lightweight was a factory-built weapon, stripped of comfort, engineered for one purpose: owning the quarter mile. Survivors are so rare that most enthusiasts have never seen one in person. From the outside, it looked like any midsize Fairlane coupe. Clean, slab-sided lines, restrained chrome, and a pillarless roofline. But step closer and you'd notice thinner body panels, acid-dipped steel, and a Spartan interior. Vinyl bench seats, a simple black dash, and virtually no sound deadening. Beneath the hood sat Ford's fearsome 427 cubic inch FE V8 with high-rise dual-quad intake, officially rated at 425 horsepower but rumored to make far more. Hooked to a close-ratio top-loader, 4-speed and 4.11 gears, this Fairlane was a rocket. In testing, it could rip the quarter mile in the low 12-second range at over 215 miles per hour, astonishing for 1966. Only 57 cars were ever built. Most were delivered directly to drag racers under Ford's factory backdoor program, and many didn't survive the brutal stock and superstock wars. The few that remain are almost mythical, locked away in private collections. Today, an authentic R-code lightweight can fetch well over $250,000 at auction, if one even surfaces. Every matching numbers component, carburetors, manifolds, even the paper-thin bumpers, adds huge value. For collectors, missing parts or a swapped engine can cut the price in half. Its legacy paved the way for another Fairlane even wilder, even more purpose-built for the strip. And unlike the 1966 lightweight, this next one would become an outright legend in drag racing history. Top 2 1964 Fairlane Thunderbolt 427 R code. If the 1966 R code was a factory freak, the 1964 Thunderbolt was pure factory rebellion. Born from Ford's clandestine drag racing skunkworks, this Fairlane didn't just dominate the quarter mile, it redefined it. No frills, no apologies, just war. At a glance, it looked like a plain Fairlane two-door sedan, but open the hood and you'd find Ford's top-secret weapon, a 427 FE high-riser V8 with dual whole 4 barrels, breathing through a massive teardrop hood scoop. Rated at 425 horsepower, but in reality closer to 500. Ford cut every ounce possible. Fiberglass hood and fenders, acrylic side windows, no heater, no rear armrests, no sound deadening. The interior was raw, black bench seats, a tack on the column, and a single red kill switch on the dash. Only 100 Thunderbolts were built, 49 automatic, 51 4-speed. They were delivered straight to racers like Butch Leal and Gas Ronda under NHRA Superstock regulations, and they annihilated the competition. Low 11S at over 120 miles per hour made the Thunderbolt virtually unbeatable in 1964. Most Thunderbolts were thrashed, wrecked, or cannibalized. Authentic survivors are unicorns. Today, a documented Thunderbolt with matching parts can command $300,000 to $400,000, and restored examples are often museum-bound. Even reproduction clones sell for more than original big block Mustangs. But not every Fairlane drag legend came from a factory skunkworks. 1 year later, Ford released a version anyone could order from a showroom with the same 427 firepower, but dressed in street clothes. Top 3 1967 Fairlane 427 RW code. It looked like any other 1967 Fairlane at first glance, but the badge on the fender said otherwise. This wasn't a family car. This was a factory-built 427 Brute disguised in chrome and steel. and it hit the streets with a mission. The 1967 Fairlane 427 came in two factory variants, the R code and the ultra-rare 1 code. Both packed the same monstrous 427 FE big block under the hood, officially rated at 425 horsepower, but every drag racer knew that figure was sandbag. With high compression, solid lifters, and race-grade internals, this engine was built to launch. Pair it with a top-loader 4-speed, a 4.11 Detroit locker, and stripped-down sound insulation, and you had a machine capable of mid to high 12-second quarter-mile runs on skinny bias-ply tires. No fancy aero, just brute force. Ford built only 229 Fairlanes with the 427 in 1967, making this one of the rarest full-interior big-block cars of the era. Unlike the Thunderbolt, this Fairlane came with bucket seats, heater, even an optional AM radio. It looked calm, it sounded deadly. Against Chevelles, GTOs, even Mopar Hemis, the Fairlane 427 held its ground. It was a sleeper's dream, a street-legal missile that could take down anything at the lights. Today, an R-code survivor can command over $150,000, and a true W-code example with documentation closer to $250,000 plus if you can find one. But brute strength isn't always what makes a Fairlane unforgettable. Sometimes it's the sheer absurdity of its design, like what Ford did a decade earlier with a bubble-top coupe that looked more like a spaceship than a sedan. Top 4. 1956 Fairlane Crown Victoria Skyliner. At a time when most cars had steel roofs and modest curves, Ford built a Fairlane that looked like it came from the future. The 1956 Crown Victoria Skyliner wasn't just a car, it was a glass-domed dream machine. The Skyliner took Ford's already bold Crown Victoria coupe and gave it a twist no one saw coming. A tinted acrylic roof panel stretching across the front seats, letting sunlight pour into the cabin. From the outside, it looked like a rolling observatory. Inside, drivers got a panoramic view of the sky above. Chrome everywhere, two-tone paint schemes, checkerboard dash trim. It was more space-age lounge than mid-century car, and yet it still had classic American muscle underneath. A 292 or 312 Y-block V8, backed by a Ford-O-Matic or 3-speed manual. Ford only built 603 Skyliners that year. Most buyers found the roof too hot in the summer and too fragile for everyday use. Many dealers didn't even know how to market it. The result? A short production run and a quick fade into obscurity. For decades, these cars were treated as oddities, until collectors realized just how radical the design really was. Today, surviving Skyliners are showstoppers. Restored examples can fetch over $70,000, especially if the acrylic roof is intact and the car retains its factory two-tone scheme. The once weird roof has become the car's crown jewel, and thanks to a growing wave of 50s futurism fans, demand has never been higher. But the glasstop wasn't the only rare Fairlane to blend bold design with serious mechanicals. Just a few years later, Ford quietly released a small block sleeper that could outrun far bigger cars. Top 5. 1964 Fairlane 500-289 Hypo K-Code. It didn't have a big block flashy trim or a racing pedigree, but the 1964 Fairlane 500 Hypo K-Code didn't need any of that. This was Ford's quiet killer, a small block coupe that punched way above its weight and vanished before most people knew it existed. On the outside, it looked ordinary. A Fairlane 500 hardtop coupe with conservative lines, minimal chrome, and understated badging. But under the hood, a factory 289 high-performance V8 with solid lifters, a 10.51 compression ratio, dual-point ignition, and a 6,000 RPM redline. Rated at 271 horsepower, this K-Code engine made the Fairlane lighter and quicker off the line than heavier big-block rivals. Paired with a top-loader 4-speed and optional 3.89 gears, it could hit 60 miles per hour in under 7.5 seconds. Remarkable for a car this size. Ford only built around 600 Fairlane K-Codes in 1964. Most buyers didn't even know the option existed, because the K-Code wasn't advertised. It was a hidden order code, buried in fleet catalogs or slipped through performance dealers like Tasca Ford. Many were bought by weekend racers, stripped down and run hard, then forgotten. Few survived intact. Today, surviving K-Codes are among the rarest small block Fairlanes ever made. Matching numbers cars with original drivetrains and VIN-coded blocks are commanding $40,000 to $60,000, depending on condition. More than a few collectors consider the Fairlane K code even rarer and purer than the early GT 350 Mustang it helped inspire. But 1964 wasn't the only year Ford slipped the Hypo 289 into a Fairlane. The next year, they dropped it into a sports coupe with sharper lines, and even fewer survivors remain today. And top 6, 1963 Fairlane 500 Sports Coupe 289 High Pole, K code. Before the Thunderbolt and the Cobra Jet, there was this, Ford's early warning shot in the small block muscle war. The 1963 Fairlane 500 Sports Coupe High Poop wasn't flashy, but under the skin, it was a lightweight predator hiding real firepower. The 1963 Fairlane Sports Coupe introduced a sleeker, more aggressive roofline, bucket seats, and center console. It felt more muscle than midsize, and with the optional 289 high-performance K-code engine, it finally had the bite to match the bark. Graded at 271 horsepower and 312 pound-feet of torque, the solid lifter small block came alive at high revs. Paired with a 4-speed manual and 3.89 rear gears, this Fairlane could launch hard and sprint to 60 miles per hour in just over 7 seconds, matching or beating heavier big block Chevelles and 383 Mopars. Ford built only around 1,200 to 1,300 Fairlane sports coupes, with the Hypo 289 in 1963. It wasn't promoted, it wasn't in flashy ads, dealers didn't push it, most customers never knew it existed. Many of these cars were raced locally, stripped for parts, or lost to time. And because the K-code engine later became iconic in early GT 350S and Mustangs, many original Fairlanes were sacrificed to keep pony cars alive. Today, surviving examples are extremely rare. Restored sports coupes now push $50,000 to $65,000, especially if they retain original drivetrains and trim. Collectors view them as the missing link between the 50s mild and the 60s wild. But power isn't the only path to rarity. In the mid-50s, Ford experimented with designs so radical it risked being laughed off the lot. What they built next wasn't fast, but it was transparent, rare, and unforgettable. Top 7, 1955 Fairlane Crown Victoria Transparent Top. In 1955, Ford didn't just offer style, they offered spectacle. The Crown Victoria Transparent Top was a rolling display case, a car that turned every drive into a fashion show under glass. The design was audacious. Ford took the already elegant Crown Victoria hardtop and added a smoked acrylic roof panel over the front seats. The result was pure 1950s Americana, chrome overload, sweeping two-tone paint, and a clear view to the skies above. Inside, it featured bench seats with tricolor vinyl, lots of polished trim, and a full-width dash gleaming with jet-age flair. Power came from a 272 or 292 Y-block V8, delivering 162-193 horsepower depending on trim. Paired with a Ford-O-Matic or 3-speed manual. Performance wasn't the focus, but presence? Unmatched. It looked like a show car, but this was a production model. Ford built 1,999 transparent top Crown Victorias in 1955, mostly for display and limited regional sale. Many owners found the roof impractical in warm climates. It trapped heat and faded quickly. Dealers didn't know how to explain it, and within a year, the design was gone. Survivors are rare and restorations are costly. Finding an intact acrylic roof is nearly impossible, but values are rising fast. Fully restored, transparent tops now fetch $70,000, $90,000, especially with original trim, glass, and correct color combos. It's become a cult classic for collectors of 1950 futurism. Its rarity isn't just in numbers, but in sheer visual audacity. But the Crown Vic wasn't the only Fairlane convertible to slip through the cracks. By 1967, Ford had a drop-top big block bruiser with both beauty and rarity. And most people still don't know it exists. Top 8, 1967 Fairlane 500 XL Convertible. By 1967, Ford had turned the Fairlane into a full-fledged muscle machine, but some variants still flew under the radar. The Fairlane 500 XL Convertible was one of them, a big block drop-top most enthusiasts have never even seen. The 500 XL was the top trim line for Fairlanes that year. bucket seats, console, deluxe interior trim, and unique exterior badging. Underneath the sleek convertible body was real firepower. Available 390 FE V8 engines producing up to 320 horsepower, and backed by C6 automatics or 4 speeds and optional performance rear gears. While most attention went to GTs and hardtop Cobras, the 500XL convertible was quietly capable 0 to 60 in just over 7 seconds and a quarter mile in the mid-50s even in stock form. Ford only built 1,943 Fairlane 500XL convertibles in 1967. Most were driven hard top-down cruisers with minimal care given to preservation. The FE engines were strong, but when they failed, few owners invested in correct rebuilds. Many ended up scrapped, parted, or V8 swapped into Mustangs. Survivors today are rarely original, but when found intact, with the correct drivetrain, interior trim, and documentation, the 500XL drop top becomes a true rarity. Restored examples are now bringing $50,000+, and values are rising as collectors look past the obvious GTs and Cobras. Its combination of luxury trim, real muscle, and open-air experience makes it one of the most underappreciated Fairlanes ever made. Few convertibles from the era offered such an even balance of comfort and punch. And yet, the 500XL wasn't the only rare convertible in Ford's '67 lineup. One more Fairlane drop top packed even more punch, and even fewer were made. It's the GT's forgotten twin, and it's up next. Top 9, 1967 Fairlane GT Convertible. And it had the badge, the brawn, and the body to back it all up. Yet the 1967 Fairlane GT Convertible remains one of the most forgotten big block drop tops Ford ever built. While the GT trim was better known on hardtops, the convertible variant shared the same muscle. The standard 390 FE V8 rated at 320 horsepower, paired with a top-loader 4-speed or a heavy-duty C6 automatic. The GT included performance suspension, dual exhaust, and GT badging inside and out. It also added a no-nonsense look, blacked-out grille, rally stripes, and optional styled steel wheels. In convertible form, it combined brute strength with blue sky cruising. Only 2,177 Fairlane GT convertibles were built in 1967, making it rarer than many GT hardtops or Cobra variants. And, because it lacked the stripped-down feel of race Fairlanes, many owners used them as summer drivers, top-down, open-road cruisers, with little thought to long-term survival. As a result, few remain today in original condition with matching numbers drivetrains, and the 390 GT convertible can still run 0 to 60 in just over 7 seconds with a quarter mile in the low to mid-50s. When properly restored, these cars are beginning to draw serious attention, especially with period options like power front discs, factory air, and bucket seat interiors. Auction prices are now topping $60,000, and the rarest color combos are pushing even higher. Collectors are slowly realizing that this wasn't just a Fairlane, it was a statement. But as wild as the GT convertible was, Ford saved one of its boldest moves for the next year, blending muscle and luxury in a way that no one expected. And it came in the form of a convertible Fairlane with GTA badges and a 390 under the hood. And top 10, 1966 Fairlane GTA 390 Convertible. Muscle car fans rave about the GTs and Cobras, but the 1966 Fairlane GTA 390 Convertible might be the most overlooked big block drop-top Ford ever built. It had the looks, the luxury, and enough torque to light up the rear tires at will. And the GTA was Ford's way of combining automatic convenience with real performance. Under the hood was the S-Code 390 FE V8, churning out 335 horsepower and 427 pound-feet of torque. Mated to a C6 automatic transmission and a 3.25 or optional 3.5 rear gear, this convertible could do 0 to 60 in just over 7 seconds, while you sipped coffee with your arm on the door. Outside, it featured a GT-style grille, rocker panel stripes, and styled steel wheels. Inside, you got a center console, bucket seats, and wood-grain accents that made it feel more upscale than bare-knuckle. While the GT and GTA badges were widely recognized on hardtops, the convertibles flew under the radar. Only 4,327 Fairlane GTA convertibles were built in 1966, and few were preserved. Many were used as daily drivers, muscle cars with a soft top and automatic. They didn't exactly scream collector car back in the day. But now things have changed. Restored examples with matching numbers drivetrains, original paint codes, and factory trim are becoming highly desirable. Auction prices are trending upward. Clean cars now reach $45,000, $60,000, and rare factory colors can bring more. The GTA offers a unique blend of power, comfort, and style that's aged better than anyone expected. The 1966 Fairlane GTA Convertible is more than just a collectible. It's a final glimpse of when full-size muscle and drop-top elegance lived in the same garage. Not many were made, and fewer still survive. When one shows up, smart collectors don't hesitate. They strike. So, how many of these Fairlanes had you actually seen before? 1? 2? Maybe none? That's the beauty of this list. Each car was a one-shot moment in Ford's wild history. If you are as obsessed as we are with rare muscle, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and let us know which Fairlane deserves a comeback. This is Muscle Cars Revolution, and we're just getting started, digging up America's lost muscle machines.